Hey everyone, Ravinous here. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV and our journey through patch 4.1 main story. Last time we had an interview with Fordola where we got a look at her backstory, yet she finds my story to be more tragic. So, we just finished up. Let's see what our friends have to think about it. The capacity to experience such visions of the past has always had always seemed to me to be a most desirable talent, but I see now that it is much a burden as a blessing. Sorry about that. I let my emotions get the better of me. It's just that she and I are of an age, and we're neither of us one thing or another. I can't help but feel like she's my problem to solve. Alright. I don't know what we solved. I don't know that we solved anything exactly, but we've given Fordola something to think about at least. I found something new to think about too. I don't know about you, Ravinous, but the visions only come to me every now and then. From the way Fordola kept wincing, though, I get the feeling she's having them almost all the time. That's a lot of bad memories to deal with. I wonder, could there be some fundamental difference between one who is born with the echo and one who has been artificially imbued with it? Well, the Immortal Flames have been scouring that research facility since the liberation. There's a chance they might have some answers for us. General Erlein's there overseeing the investigation. Let's go and pay him a visit, shall we? I've been curious about the stuff that's gone what all occurred in that lab anyway since the last time we were there, because I also want to know if this will give me information of what happened to Kryl, because I don't know if she still has her echo. General Erlein's inside. Aye. Will you be joining him? Yes. Yes, I will. Whoa, free roam in here. Can I eavesdrop? Nope. Okay. I see a flame investigator over here. Oh. So many bodies. That's exactly what I was thinking. Make sure to burn this place to the ground and be done with it. Seeing this facility, I'm reminded of what they did to Kryl. Yeah. We received a request from the Alliance to analyze these devices, and I've been recording everything of interest. Good. I'm curious to see if they've come up with any conclusions. Come on, let's talk to Raban. What news? You spoke to with Fordola, I take it? Yes, as expected, she didn't say very much, but it wasn't a total waste of time. Ardenwald noticed something odd about her. He thinks she might have been having visions almost constantly, which is not how the echo normally works. Have you found anything here which might explain why it's so different for her? Huh, we've been hard-pressed just to analyze the research materials, let alone study them. To be frank, I welcome the Scion's expert assistance if you have time to lend a hand. Bring whatever you discover to me, and I'll put all the findings together. So many bodies, every one of them a victim of these experiments. Few show any signs of external injury. From what we've been able to determine, they perished from forcible ether extraction. Such a miserable way to die. Ugh. You say the same thing? Oh. These bastards would fiddle with a man's very soul if it served their purposes. Nothing is sacred to them. Nothing. No one else to talk to over there. For a race with no innate capacity to manipulate ether, the Garleans have conducted some exceedingly elaborate etheric experiments. Where did Lise go? All the pods are designed to drain ether of the occupant. Save that one right there. Unlike the other, the interior has been fitted with an array of sensors to measure etheric waveforms. To what purpose, however, I couldn't tell you. Will the echo give me an idea? The device in which Kryl was held seems to be more ominous now you know its purpose. The surrounding pods are marked with supply subject, while this one bears the label master subject. The Ironworks received a request from Alliance to analyze devices and be printing instances. Do you notice the labeling? All the pods are designed to drain the ether of the occupant, save the one right there. Unlike the others, the interior has been fitted with an array of sensors to measure etheric waveforms. To what purpose, however, I couldn't tell you. Because she was the blueprint. I'm guessing right now that the sensors in there were to measure how ether it was in Kryl. So that way they could take the ether from the other pods and make a duplicate of hers. That's what I'm thinking. Meaning, while it was probably really bad for Kryl, I don't think it manipulated hers. I think she was the one they were mimicking. So they needed a blueprint to mimic. I know a little less of science, so any light you can shed on the facility's operation would be much appreciated. Ravinous, shall we start with you? And hopefully he'll explain some of my theory. Taking a combination with testimonies of Kryl and Thancred, I do begin to see exactly what the Imperials were attempting here. The enhancement procedure entailed infusing a single candidate with ether siphoned from a multiploid of supply subjects. As for the master subject, in this case Kryl, the patterns of her etheric activity would provide the model which they would artificially engineer the candidate's aura. I called it! In other words, they were trying to recreate Kryl's echo. I believe so, which would explain our prisoner's current state. Kryl is possessed with an unrivaled ability to hear the whispers of the soul, and it seems probable that the procedure engendered the same acute sensitivity in Fordola. The soldiers who guard Fordola, many of them lost friends and family to the skulls. And there's a sentry at our door, night and day. If she can't help sensing their thoughts and seeing their past... But you don't just see their past, you live it. All the emotion, all the pain. Imagine what it'd do to you. You'd never be the same again. Indeed, as you may recall, Fordola was completely transformed by a single glimpse of Hrosvelgir's past. Fordola has been forced to experience the agony of those whose lives she destroyed. The guilt must be unbearable. That explains her request to be executed. But she still says, I'm worse! She says, I'm worse than what she's going through. Sounds to me like a kind of justice. Regardless, she can suffer on for now. We have more pressing matters to consider. If the results of these experiments have been relayed back to Garlemald, there will be not to stop the Empire from repeating the trick. They could give the echo to anyone, to an entire legion. We must be ready. We must learn all we can of these godforsaken procedures, and Fordola remains our best source of information. She'll not be getting her wish, not yet. Right. Keep faith, lass. If you're to concern if you're to concern others to follow, convince others to follow you, you must believe what you're telling them. The people will believe. People will respond to passion, but enough is feigned. Ugh. I understand. Thank you, General. We should leave the flames to it. Let's go. So, that answers my question that Kryle, for all intents and purposes, is okay. I mean, traumatic, yes, but the experiments, I don't think did any permanent damage to her. So, that answers that question. I've never known why I was given the Echo, but it makes me want to put it to good use. Come on. Nope, not. Get out of the way. Thank you. The forcible extraction of ether from a living subject is irrevocably fatal. How many died that Fordola might gain her new abilities? Blah. Blah, blah, blah. I go looking for answers about the Echo, and I end up getting schooled by Raban. Yet more evidence that I don't know what I'm doing. It's no wonder people listen to him and not me. General Adeline is a veteran of countless campaigns, Lise. You cannot compare yourself to a commander of his experience. I know. But I also know that I couldn't have convinced that mob to give up and go home. It makes me realize how much we rely on his authority, and how much I still have to learn. I wonder what he'll do when everything is settled. I mean, it's his homeland. After going through the trouble winning it back, might he not want to stay? 'Tis a quandary which countless refugees now face. To continue the life they built in Ul'dah, or start again in the land of their birth. Ravinous, a moment. Oh, Pippin. I'm newly returned from Ul'dah with a message from the Sultana. Her Grace desires an audience with you. She understands that you have responsibilities here, but asks that you visit the palace at your earliest convenience. Well, I must away and attend to other business. Until next time, my friends. An audience for the Sultana? Depending on the nature of her consultation, this might be the perfect opportunity to inquire about the General's future plans. Yes, we'd all like to know about those, Alphino, but not everyone's as comfortable interrogating royalty as you. Take no notice of him, Ravinous. So, I get to go talk to the Sultana. In case you're wondering, I'm not planning on staying in Alamigo. Too many bad memories, and besides, I like my new life. I know I could learn so much from Raoban if he decided to stay, but it's his choice, and I'm not about to try and persuade him. Ul'dah needs him too. Well, the question of how to put the Mad King's traitor to good use shows no sign of answering itself. Shall we be about it, Arnvald? I'm at your beck and call. And I should be getting back to my own task. I'll organize a squad to head down to the ruins and then start preparing for the big meeting. Oh, send Donamo my regards, Ravinous. And ours too, if you please. We shall see you on your return. All right, well, heading to Ul'dah. Luckily, I always know that Ul'dah is one of the major of the three starting cities, probably the one that has the most action. So, I often keep my cheap way of getting there. That's why my free teleport's there now. All right, and that means to Chamber Rule. Teleport. Closest way there. Other side. Alright. Bartholomew, I'm here. You are expected, my lord. Please proceed. Oh, last time I was at this table, it was real bad.
I thank you for answering my summons in these most interesting times. You have been busy.
Yep.
The liberation of Alamigo will have far-reaching consequences, and there is a matter upon which I would seek your counsel. I speak of Raubahn and his future.
Of course.
All know the tale of his rise from penniless refugee to member of the Syndicate and General of the Immortal Flames. Yet though he has come to call Ul'dah home, it will never be his homeland. He is a son of Alamigo.
Yeah.
And now that she is free, I thought it only a matter of time before he sought my leave to return to her. Indeed, I had resigned myself to his loss. Suffice it to say, I was greatly surprised to hear him speak so lightly of handing over the reins in Alamigo and retaking his place at my side.
I kind of saw that coming.
I will welcome him with open arms, of course. He is my most trusted advisor and my dearest friend. But I have known the man a long time, and beneath that steely gaze, I spied a flicker of doubt.
He's torn.
Whether Raubahn chooses to remain in Ul'dah or return to Alamigo, I only wish that he do so with a heart unburdened by guilt or regret. Yet, how can he freely make such a choice, knowing how much I depend on him? It is past time that I learned to discharge my duties as a sultana alone. I must go forth and see my realm with my own eyes, and hear the wind with my own ears. Might I have your company for a brief adventure?
Another adventure! Yes.
Wonderful. Allow me a moment to change into something a touch less conspicuous, and I will join you outside.
Man, that brings back memories of my original trip to the Sultan. I bet she uses that outfit. Alright, outside the quicksand. Alright. So we'll head back to the Adventurers Guild. What's interesting, though, is... Well, I guess she still needs to figure this out in the meantime. I imagine she still has her plans of making the Ul'dah more of a democracy. But she can't do that yet. I mean, the Syndicate still has their plans. So, but, you know, it's they're not going to wait on this to be... The timing's not there for democracy to happen as Raubahn leaves, so, yeah. Yep. Perchance you remember Lilira, the merchant's daughter. This is the persona I assume when I venture beyond the palace walls to observe my subjects unnoticed. Ordinarily, Papa-chan would accompany, but for this particular outing, I need an advisor, not a minder. That is why I request your company. Over the course of your many adventures, you have met people from all walks of life in every corner of Eorzea, and I would make use of your worldly experience. Now let us be on our way. Our first destination is Stone's Throw, just beyond the gates of Nald. Okay. Which I can teleport this way. But I believe that was the same outfit. Gates of Nald. I guess I could have just walked out the gate, but I couldn't remember which one was the gate of Nald. See, this is also one of the reasons why I'm happy that I started this character in Ul'dah, because it gives me a better relationship with Nanimo, I think. Look upon the procession of tattered tents. These refugees camp in squalor, at the mercy of the elements and Thanland's predators both. The city's mighty walls may offer safety, but the streets overflow with people as it is. And unless blessed by the hands of Nald himself, no refugee could ever hope to afford a dwelling in Ul'dah. 20 years have passed since the fall of Alamigo, and 5 since the calamity. Yet the plight of the poor have grown more desperate, no less. As Sultana, the blame falls upon me. Your hands have been tied. Yes, my authority is limited, and that is an obstacle I must work to overcome. Shall we press on? I would follow the road to the unholy air. Yeah, her hands have been tied by the Syndicate. What it comes down to. Because I know she wants a democracy where the people have the say in everything. But right now, she barely has a say because it's the Syndicate and all the business leaders that have all the real say. All the wealthy. The wealthy and corrupt. So her hands have been tied as a puppet. But if she can gain control, especially considering her view on things, then, I mean, if the sultanship was more corrupt and the Syndicate wasn't, I could see this current situation being better, but it's reversed. So it was here in this wholly unremarkable place that my mother and father met their doom. I was but a child at the time. My parents were returning from an inspection of our interests in Eastern Thanland when an untimely rockslide crushed their carriage. To this day, it is not certain if the incident was simple misfortune or an expertly planned assassination. Raban once offered to reopen the investigation and bring me the truth, a truth he assumed I must surely crave, but I refused. Even if my parents' deaths were orchestrated by the Monterists, we could only have brought their hirelings to justice. The true villains who plotted to put me on the throne as a biddable puppet were ever beyond our reach. Thus did I plan to strip the merchants of their power and place the nation in the hands of its citizens, quite unaware of the consequences my actions would have for you and yours. I shudder to think how many goodly souls paid the price of my naivete. But I am no longer a child reciting words with witless obedience, and I will not be used as a pawn in the Monteri's damnable games. Forgive me my outburst. You are the one of few people whom I feel I can speak my mind. Come, let us return to Ul'dah and visit the Colosseum. It's true, I could very well essentially replace Raoban, not on a permanent basis, but on an advisory basis, especially if NPCs would learn to use their damn link shells more often. Or link pearls. I mean, they've used it enough. They know I have one. But then again, the Sultana might call me all times a day. That wouldn't be good. She does need to learn to stand on her own 2 feet a bit more. I know I could have teleported back in, but we're close enough. Plus, it gave me time to put out my thoughts on the Sultana's situation. So, see, the Colosseum is closest to the Gladiators Guild, because Gladiators, Colosseum, yada yada. So, Gladiators Guild. least we're back in the city now. Less dangerous for her. From the moment I became Sultana, I found myself thrust in an endless parade of document signing and ceremonies. For years I simply signed where I was told to sign and sat where I was told to sit, blissfully oblivious to what any of it meant. Yet one good thing came from that ignominious chapter of my life, for it was during an official visit to the Colosseum that I first met Raubon. The match I had been invited to attend was not all I expected. They had pitted the Bull of Alamigo against some dozen or so rival gladiators. Blinkered though I was, I could not stand for so obvious an injustice and demanded to see a fair fight, one man against another, and my royal wish was duly granted. It was not until later that I learned of the gambling ring which arranged for Raubon to die on the stands that day. Regardless, my intervention meant that Raubon had but a single opponent to dispatch, which he duly did. And when he knelt before me to receive the winner's purse, he swore that he would one day offer me his blade in service. Surrounded as I was by liars and manipulators, I confess I dismissed it as a pleasant piece of theater. But as you know, Raubon is a man of his word. Though it took him another 5 years of fighting on the bloodstands, he had amassed a fortune so great as to not only buy his freedom, but a seat on the syndicate. And then I had my blade. Echo time! So many echoes this patch. We're getting a lot of backstory. That worked out. One block, don't need the shield anymore. And he still only used one of his two blades.
I beg of you!
It seems you're the one who needs looking after, Master Shum. Raubon!
Your Grace. I have kept the promise made.
So you have, and in turn, so too shall I keep mine. With your winnings, you have become one of the 6 most wealthy souls in all Ul'dah, and so, as tradition dictates, Raubon Uldin, you have earned yourself a seat on the Syndicate. May your new station garner you still greater glories.
I am honored, Your Grace, and vow to serve with every fiber of my being from this day till my last.
He's sticking around.
Long live the Sultana, and long live Ul'dah!
He said he would serve her till his last day, so he's not going to Alamigo. I mean, he's going to help out, but he's sticking with Sultana. I now know his decision. He's like, he's going to stick with his oath. Words cannot well express what that man means to me. There are others who care deeply for my well-being, of course. Papa Shan's love for me is that of a grandsire for his grandchild. but upon matters of governance, I cannot turn to bodyguards and maidservants for counsel. Rabat, with the authority of his syndicate position, was the first sword I could wield. His was the only edge which could cut the strings that bound me. Alright, but our story will have to continue in the next episode. So, if you enjoyed this, give it a like. Any thoughts, comments down below. If you haven't subscribed, click on my beautiful face. If you like to support these videos, check out my Patreon. And thank you for watching. Until next time, later.